On April 1st, 2021, I ditched a career I absolutely hated to better myself and do the things I've always wanted to do. And that included my growing love and obsession with Ireland. I want to learn everything: culture, history, mythology, music, and the language. Which, if I'm being honest, looks really hard to learn, but I'm going to give it the old Smith try. Then, of course, there is my love of pubs and the role that they've played throughout history, and no better example of that than on that beautiful, beleaguered island in the North Atlantic, Ireland. April 1st, 2026, I depart for the Emerald Isle, and for 1 year, I'll hike town by town and conduct interviews with pub owners, pub regulars, historians, town know-it-alls, musicians, and basically anybody that wants to talk to me. If you'd like to support the project and the journey, basic Patreon support is only $3 a month, but just liking a video or subscribing to the channel and following the journey is just as helpful. I'm always looking for volunteers to work as liaisons for the project too, so if you live in Ireland and know people, feel free to hit me up. This is a huge goal and I need all the help I can get. The Smitty Learns Irish Pubcast begins April 26th and will be my life's work. Thank you. Sorry, it was fucking dirty when you walked in. I was going to clean, and I didn't clean.
I don't think it's dirty.
I walked in, and
I'm so rude.
I said, oh, man, I was going to fucking sweep and do some Swiffering, and I was going to make sure some dishes were done, but fucking...
Dude, have you seen my house? Like, your house is pretty clean comparatively.
No, I haven't seen your house. You have a brand new fucking house, by the way.
Do.
Is it nice?
It's cool.
Did you have a housewarming party yet?
No. See, the last thing I want to do is have people in my house.
Not even people you know and love?
I mean, a couple at a time maybe, but never a massive amount of people.
A couple at a time maybe, but never a massive amount of people. You just described an orgy.
Wow.
Sorry, we started off hot.
Yeah, a little bit.
Brian Pfeifer, how are you?
Good, man. I'm good. Happy to be here for the first time ever.
Dude,
Thanks for the invite.
Dude, I'm so happy you're here.
I am too.
So happy you're here. What do you think? What do you think about the SmitHole, the third? You have not been in the first or the second SmitHole.
No.
But you've been in the third SmitHole. The turd SmitHole.
Love your place, dude. Honestly, I love your whole place. Not just your SmitHole, but like your entire living situation. It's cool.
Isn't it? It's a vibe. Isn't it a vibe?
It's cool. So I always had a thing about like wanting to live, and I hope I'm not giving too much away in what I'm saying, but like,
dude, I've already put my my existence on the internet. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Like 5 times.
Right.
I took a picture of the weed store on the side of my apartment. The weed store sign, like, hey, I live here.
And that's the thing. Like, I like what you've got going on because, like, I've always wanted to live above businesses on like a front street of like a downtown area. I just think that's cool.
I never have. I never wanted to do that.
I lived above.
It
business.
always seemed kind of cool, I guess.
Yeah, I lived above business. It wasn't a downtown vibe though. It was over a chiropractor's.
Dude, it's like I was thinking about living in like a place like Traverse City, which is obviously way more populated than
Yes.
Mansalona. If I would have liked it then, because I don't necessarily want to live in town with a bunch of people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't necessarily. I like living in the country.
Well, it's bad enough now in the winter, but it gets so bad in the summer with people. But
it's not like, but here it's different. Like I didn't even post it, but I just took a fucking super rad video, like just standing outside the other night at probably 2:00 in the morning. It was after the Lions won, and it was snowing, and it was fucking magical. The only thing I didn't add to like the scenery was an imposed fucking Honolulu blue lion logo right there somehow somewhere. But it was nothing happening. It was like 2:00 in the morning. Nothing was going on. It was just dead silent, and it was fucking fantastic. And I just loved the vibe. I never thought I would have liked the vibe of Mansalona. I'm not gonna lie, man.
See, I always thought of you as a dude who preferred the smaller towns that are surrounded by wooded area. Like that's kind of how I always pictured you. I never thought of you as a Traverse City guy. I think Traverse City's too big for you.
Well, it is. No, I'd like populated areas because I like things to do, but I like to be able to easily commute there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Without too much of a rigmarole.
Yeah,
because
that's why I think Traverse is cool because for me, you're in town, but if I want to get out of town, 5 minutes any direction, I'm out of town.
As long as it's not too populated of an area where I live by, like Detroit or something, where there's just fucking subdivisions and it's just chaos for miles and miles around. You know, good luck.
Mm-hmm.
Fuck that.
That's what I grew up in, man. My neighborhood, every house was. I mean, honestly, The distance between one wall to the other wall in this room is about double what it was between the houses in my neighborhood that I grew up. It was a very small space between the homes.
Yeah.
I mean, they all have backyards, but
I love this, dude.
Yeah.
It's like, honestly, it's so 100%, like everything I need is right at my fingertips right here. Especially, it's pizza place right across the street.
yes,
Candy shop across the street that I have not stopped at yet.
weed shop right across the road there.
Weed shop right across the road. And if I don't feel like it, like when I was snowed in the other night, I just walk my happy ass across the street to the gas station and get some beer.
My favorite photo you have put online was the picture you put up where it says, "This is the moment where I said forget this shit and turned around."
Yeah.
And it was literally your footsteps in the snow making a circular turn back into the...
Yeah, it's a true story. Dude, honestly, I remember it fucking vividly. And I didn't laugh at the time because I was fucking pissed off. I went out there. I was just like, I got to get my car out, man. I got things to do. Mm-hmm. And I just went out there, and it was like shin deep. And I was like, I didn't have a shovel. So I didn't do it till the next day or 2 days later, actually. It was Monday that I got it out. Saturday, I went out there to and did that and then took the picture. But I was just like, I don't have a shovel. What am I going to do? I can't get the fuck out of here. Plus, I'm not. Fuck this. I went back inside. But it was just like the perfect loop. I was looking down at it going, oh, just hating it. And I was getting off on hating it. I was just like, oh, I hate this so much. And I just want to look at it so I can be fucking pissed off.
If you could not say getting off and grunting while I'm in the room, I'd be all right with that.
and then I saw the loop, and I fucking laughed my ass off.
It was great. I saw that, and I started laughing because, I mean, that to me that's northern Michigan, man. Like, you walk outside, it's so damn cold, and it's snowing. It's miserable. And I know people who live here say, well, you shouldn't live in northern Michigan. Well, that's where my job is.
I do.
That's where I live.
That's where I live. That's where I'm from. I'm trying to get the fuck out of here.
I don't have to love the snow. You can't make me.
Yeah. People say that. Fuck off. You know?
And it's constant up here, too. Like, well, you shouldn't live here if you don't like it. Well, that's not where life took me. Life took me here. This is where I live, and I have a right to be angry at whatever weather. If I want to bitch it's too hot in the summer and bitch it's too cold in the winter, I'm going to do it.
Damn you, life.
Yeah.
You know? That's why but honestly, you've purposely avoided life taking you to Florida.
I don't think...
I mean, like, me too. I'm saying that. Me too.
I can't picture myself that... Like, I think I could handle the heat most of the year. I couldn't handle it in the July through August. That would be horrible. But the bugs in Florida are so bad, dude.
I've never been. It just always seemed to be too fucking swampy.
Make a fist.
Gross and humid, huh?
Make a fist.
What do you mean?
Make a fist. That's about the size of the mosquitoes there.
Yeah.
No thanks.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just like, it doesn't even freak the wildlife, like the gators and the pythons and things don't even fuck me up as much as just like the gross swampy humidity.
Swamp ass weather.
Yeah.
You don't like to hear squishy noises when you're walking along?
No. But honestly, dude, now that I wear compression shorts, I don't got to worry about that chafing. That's a real thing. I changed the game working at waiting tables.
Wait, what's the compression shorts for?
And they wrangle in the fucking thigh fat.
Oh.
So you don't get that chafing. So they
that's
don't get
literally
your legs
what they're made
together.
for?
I mean, I don't know if that's what they're made for, but that's a benefit.
Okay.
Plus, I mean, it is supposed to improve circulation. Dude, I'm all the way compressed from like my feet to I wear for my elbow because my fucking elbow hurts. My knee is in a brace.
And it works.
Seems to.
Like it feels better?
Feels better. Feels good.
Aging's a bitch, isn't it?
But then compression socks up to the knee. Because my fucking feet hurt all the time, fucking beating the shit out of me. Then the brace, then the shorts, and then the brace on the elbow. So I'm just like basically like the $6 million man.
Dude, I'm telling you, man, getting old's it's not fun. Like it's weird because in my mind I'm still a 20-year-old, but I'm not. I'm 40, going on 41 in a few days.
My dad said that up until about when he about turned 70-ish. He was saying that, and then it's not the same now.
It feels weird, dude. Like, one day you're one way, and then the next day, like, my dad says that, too. My dad is, he's in his late 70s, and, you know, he always says, well, inside I still feel like I'm a young man, but I look into a mirror, and, you know, I'm
You're
not.
Like, oh no.
Yeah.
Dude, I love it. I love getting older, man. I really do. I love
Really?
just fuck yeah. I don't know why. It's just I love the things that I've learned. As dumb as it is. I love how I'm definitely smarter. You know?
Wisdom I get. I feel like for me, for like the getting old part, like the part I can embrace of it is you get away with a lot more when you get old. Like when you're an old person, you can get away with so much.
Yeah, but it's not even that. I'm just figuring myself out. If that makes any sense. You know what I mean? You're kind of like, oh, I'm kind of fucking connecting dots. Why I am the way I am.
I kind of just thought that I would never truly figure that stuff out. I figured that I would always be going, why am I this way? Like through life, I never thought you actually get the answers. So you're telling me I'll get answers.
I mean, I can't guarantee shit for you. You know what I mean? You don't ingest the marijuana.
I don't.
You don't.
Yeah,
but
no.
Here's the thing. CBD, have you ever?
I have not.
Honestly, give it a whirl. Give it a whirl, because if it does, and I would assume it does, have the same as been. I don't want to say proven because I don't know if that's a scientific study, and I don't want to fucking say man.
Provide the paperwork, Smitty.
I don't want to say that, but the studies, more or less, for lack of a better term, have shown that CBD really, as weed does, reduce that anxiety. And for me, it's given me the ability to just kind of deep dive in there and just kind of connect some dots, you know what I mean? And really just sit with your brain a little bit.
I've never been, like, I'm not anti any of that. I just never did, I guess. And I think I've told you this before. I feel like when you grow up in a family of police officers, my dad's a retired police officer, my brother retired, and now he's a sheriff's deputy. I feel like when you grow up in that environment, one of two things happen. You either avoid it completely or you're the school drug dealer. That's it. Those are your two choices when you grow up in a family of police.
You don't just mingle with breaking the law. You either go a full bolt, whatever the fucking term is.
You fall way off the tree, like, or you just don't.
But I
mean, I never did.
I think it's growing up with an inherent sense of what you do and are supposed to do and are not supposed to do, right? Mm-hmm. That's kind of what that is. And I had the same thing forever, where I was just like, fucking potheads and fucking lazy, fucking blah, blah, blah.
I never felt like that.
No, but I did. You know what I mean? But it's fucking changing that game.
I do wonder, just because of the way my brain works and how my body reacts to certain things, I do wonder if I would be one of those people that freaks out. I know that it's not likely and that it's rare, but I feel like I could be one of those people whose heart starts pounding like, oh no.
I'm not trying to get you to do weed. First of all, I'm not like the peer pressuring type. I'm not doing that, you know? But I'm saying CBD is not weed, and saying that if that is a route you would choose to go, I mean, it's fucking helpful.
The first thing you did when I walked through the door was offer me a marijuana stick.
If you want to come in the SmitHole, you got to be high, man.
I want to take you on a ride, brother.
It's so funny.
No, dude, it's like I said, I don't really hate on it. I guess I never did, and sometimes when I talk to people about it, I feel lame, especially now that it's legal and I could totally, I can't rely on that, what you were talking about, that whole like moral, what's right, what's wrong thing. It's legal now. I could. Yeah. I just never did. But I don't drink either, so.
Yeah, no, I'm not knocking it. I respect those that do not wish to partake in either the drugs or the alcohol. Hey, I don't even like to call fucking weed drugs because it's fucking weed and it ain't.
I'm like a 90-year-old in a 40-year-old's body. I really am. I work, I go home, I fall asleep in my chair. That's
living the life right there.
Life, dude.
It's living life. I wish I could do that. Because honestly, it's 6:30 in the morning until 2 o'clock in the morning most of the time. You know?
I used to. It's weird. I used to be a night owl, 100% night owl. I could not go to sleep before 2-3 o'clock in the morning. And I think when I got into morning radio is when I kind of like, I couldn't do that anymore. I couldn't function staying up that late. But then it became a problem because I would go to sleep, but I would wake up 3 hours later. And then that was it. Like, that was the amount of sleep I was getting every night. So, I just messed up my inner body at that point. It's all screwed up. I can't stay up late anymore, but also I don't sleep wonderfully anyway. So,
dude, because I mean, like in your life, you've went from mornings to like not mornings to mornings on at least one occasion. Yeah. So it's just like that coming from somebody that knows, like that really fucks with your inner workings, man. You're just I'm lucky that I can walk around without just like and just falling down. It's like getting dizzy and getting vertigo or some shit.
I think it took, I mean, when I came off of mornings and went to the midday slot, like I feel like it took a really long time to reset my body. And just around the time it reset, I went back into mornings, and then it screwed everything up again. Then I had a hell of a time waking up. And
that afternoon show schedule was the fucking best. That was the fucking best schedule.
Well, yeah, because it's basically it's 9 to 5, but I guess more like a 10 to 6. I mean, it's a normal shift. Work at 10,
right? Leaving at 6 or 7 or whatever it was.
Yeah.
That was perfect because you go to the bar afterwards. You don't have to stay out late. You know what I mean? You get back at like 10 or 11, you know?
Yeah, and then you can unwind. You have time to unwind before you got to go to sleep because you'll still
really
have
nice.
Even if you stayed up till 1 in the morning, if you're not going into work, you can still get close to 8 hours of sleep. You know, that does sound like the sweet deal.
Did you even notice that gift sitting there? Did you happen to like look at that and like see that it had your name on it?
No.
Dude, you don't have to open it. I don't know if Tim wanted you to open it.
This is for me?
When I was supposed to bring that to you. I hung out with Tim. I hung out with Tim several weeks ago, and he gave me that to give you. He said he's had it for like 2 to 3 years, and he keeps meaning to give it to you. And you don't have to open it on camera if you don't want to.
Oh, I mean,
but
I'd be
curious. I don't know what's in it. He said it's not a dick. He said it's nothing phallic.
Let's see. Let me peek.
Okay.
Oh, no, this is nothing phallic.
What is it?
All I needed to see was that.
Ooh, Ted Lasso?
I'm already excited.
I haven't watched that show. I've watched clips.
Oh, dude, you gotta watch it. Let's see. No way! Oh, man. Tim's the best person ever. Dude, it's a believe sign.
Dude, Tim is... I don't know what that means, but I know that... I mean, I'm glad that you're stoked about it. Well... But Tim is a grade A gift giver.
Yes, this is so money. All right, first of all, Tim, I love you. Thank you for that. That's amazing. And I didn't even know this was a thing. Believe is the one word that the entire Ted Lasso world completely lives off of. Believe.
I like that feeling.
Dude,
I like that sentiment.
I love that. Okay, can I nerd for a second about the show?
Yeah, of course.
All right, so let me nerd
whatever you want.
There is so much negativity in the everyday world.
It's pretty fucking stupid.
So when you try to escape to like television to watch shows or something, a lot of times the storylines are also based on negative things. And there was something about this show, dude. It was such a positive show. Even when it went down the sad path, the show always ended on a high note. And I swear to God, I have never felt the feels like I felt watching this show.
Really?
I swear to you, dude. It is so good because it's funny, it's heartwarming, and then also there's a little bit of a kick to the gut, like with
it's
the
like,
mental health side of things.
I can't remember why I'm not remembering his name that plays Ted Lasso. Why is it escaping me? I know his
name. Jason
Sudeikis. He's funny.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I've seen clips. There's so many of those that I've just seen clips. You could name a million of them that people watch all the time, and I'm like, well, I fucking never watch it.
So I didn't know if I was gonna like it first. I don't like soccer very much. I don't like watching soccer. I liked playing when I was younger and not fat. But no, seriously, like I didn't think I was gonna like the show, and then I started watching it, and the first joke that grabbed me, and you might not even think this is that funny. They're walking through the arena. The owner's showing them around, and she's saying during World War II, you know, this was used for British soldiers as a hospital. And she said, some say the ghosts still walk through the halls today, Ted. And she goes, Ted, do you believe in ghosts? And he takes one of those pauses, right? And he turns and he says, you know, I believe I do. But what's more important is those ghosts believe in themselves. And I was done. I was hooked, dude. I was hooked. I know it's not the greatest joke in the world, but that was it for me. And
yeah, but it's just like some of the best jokes are some of the ones that nobody else gets. You know what I mean? Or not that nobody else gets, that a certain number of people don't get, because obviously a lot of people are going to get it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's just like those are the best, where not everybody necessarily thinks it's funny or gets it.
Yeah, and listen, I'm a guy who pretty much laughs at the most lowest hanging fruit. So, I mean, it doesn't take much to impress me. But this show...
Whatever do you mean, Cartman?
I don't know. This show, though, man, I could go on and on and on and on about it because of how it made me feel. I don't know how else to explain it. Like, I haven't had a TV show that made me feel a certain type of way, but this show did. And I think some of it was recognizing the mental health struggles that some of the people in the show are going through and going, oh, it was eye-opening.
Well, again, back to my point that I was making about not everybody da-da-da-da.
Yeah.
It's all about relating to people. I'm a firm believer that pretty much everything we do on a daily basis, whether it's just talk to somebody on the street or whatever, you're doing a radio show, you're doing this, you're doing that. Fucking musicians, you're writing a song. You're just trying to relate to people.
Yep.
You're just trying to do something to relate to people, and that's all anybody really wants when they're consuming any sort of media, usually. Just something they're fucking relate to. So just the idea that you fucking got it. You related to that, dude.
I did, and I hope to God that there is at least one person out there, just one person out there who has listened to one of my radio shows or become a fan of the radio show that has felt something similar, because I think, especially in the last few years, the type of humor that I'm all about is less in-your-face type stuff that it might have been when I started out in radio. So I'm kind of hoping I'm connecting on a different level than I used to with people. But man, if just one person felt the way about my show that I feel about this, all of it's worth it. Everything. The ups, the downs, everything.
Dude, it's like we talked sometimes about like your change in tone and your change in delivery like through the years, right? To when we first started, where like you would be the first to say that you were trying actively to be a shock jock.
Yep.
I actually had this fucking conversation with my aunt, and we kind of got into a heated argument about it this past Christmas. She was over with some other my other aunts and uncles and things, and I can't remember how your name was brought up. And I told you before that my mom didn't used to like you because she thought you were a fucking asshole. And I'm like, yeah, but he's a like nice guy. She's like, I don't give a fucking shit. He is completely demeaning to women on the air. And I'm like, I know, but that's not like him. You know what I mean? But the conversation that I had with my aunt was, now that my mom, I don't know if, have you met my mom before?
I don't think we've met in person, but I talk to your mom online a lot.
So, right, you guys are Facebook friends.
Yeah.
And she actually really likes you now.
Yeah, she's very sweet. I like her,
yeah.
too.
And
I didn't know she thought I was an asshole.
But I was telling my Aunt Julie, who thought you were an asshole, too, and probably still does.
Hey, Aunt Julie.
I was just like, no, he's a really good dude. And, I now remember, because we were comparing it to your competition a-hole. The old man.
Oh,
we were talking about him and how I just know he's a dirtbag. You know what I mean? Just personally, I've been in the same office with him for a good long amount of time, just like a giant dirtbag. Nobody really cared for his ass. You know what I mean?
Sure.
And I was trying to equate you with being different. I'm like, no. People actually like him. You know, that he worked with. You know what I mean? I know the dude. Like, he's a really good dude. And my mom is just like, oh, yeah, no, I now realize the same thing.
Yeah.
You know?
It sucks. Part of it sucks. And here's why. When I came to Northern Michigan almost 20 years ago, this year actually, I kind of listened to the radio and I was like, nobody's doing it up here. Nobody's being the edgy person. And I did not want to use the name Cartman, but I got stuck with it because the program director, that was what was on my demo. That was the name that was used on a different station where I was just part-time. I just wanted to be me And the program director's like, nah, you can't be you. You're going to be Cartman.
Is that his fucking voice?
Chad Barron. Yeah. I love Chad.
Oh, I remember that guy. He was on the Zone.
Dude, Chad used to walk around and be like, I make $95,000 a year because I'm Chad Barron. Ha!
There's no fucking way he made $95,000
No,
at that station.
no, not at all. He just,
what the fuck happened? No wonder they fired everybody and hired my cheap ass.
No.
That's what happened, right? They fired all
shtick.
those guys and kept you on to run everything.
We lost a lot of people
I was like the next hire in.
You were, and I was so happy to have you in the building. That was a weird transition back then, man, but it was like one day I had a full radio station and staff, and then the next day I didn't, and that
just happens sometimes.
So it was a really weird thing, but yeah. So Chad liked that name, and I had to be stuck with it. And I came here, and I like the idea of the name because I think it stands out a little more than if I went by Brian on the air.
Yeah, sure.
I mean, it's something people remember. At the time, South Park was, I don't know, I guess it's still pretty relevant, but it was super, super big deal back then. And so, people are like, Cartman, like on South Park. I'm like, yeah. So it kind of ended up being a name that stuck, and I kept it. But I did. I listened to radio when I got up here, and I was like, nobody's trying to be edgy, so I'm going to create this character. And anybody who knows me knows I'm nothing like I was on the air. I mean, I guess I am a little bit, but I don't. I never went as far.
We had this conversation many, many times when we talked about, you versus Cartman, Brian versus Cartman, right?
Yep.
And I'm trying to make it in my head too. I'm trying to, because like I only ever call you Cartman, and you only ever call me Smitty. I'm not asking you to call me Nate. I'm still Smitty on this fucking podcast, obviously. Right. But it's just like I never think of to refer to you as Brian, and it's something that I've been trying to want to shape my fucking brain into doing.
It's a weird thing when you have an on-air name and most people call you by it, and you just kind of get used to it. And so Cartman is very much as part of my life and name now as Brian is, as my parents' given name. Like, I answer to that just as much, if not more, because I am in the public eye, and that's what people call me and know me as. So, but it's just it's weird, man, because I wanted to be that edgy guy, and now I loathe it. I hate it. I'm more me than I've ever been on the air.
No, it's great, and I appreciate it because this is what we talked about. Where just I didn't think you thought you could.
Oh yeah,
you know what I mean? And I was just like, no, man, you could bleed the two together for sure, at least.
Well, the problem was that became such a beast and such a monster in the sense that, like, I was saying things that I didn't really believe on the air to try and get a rise out of people, and then people kind of knew me for that. But now, all these years later, even after change, I mean, it's been probably 7 years since 8 years maybe since I've kind of like, I need to be more me. I'm older now. I'm not a child anymore. I got to stop acting like one. And don't get me wrong, I'll still do blue humor here and there, but it's nothing like it used to be. And unfortunately, because of that world that I created when I got up here, there are still lingering people out there, like your aunt, who think one thing about me, and that's it. Like, I found out, I won't call out the police department, but I found out.
No, please do.
I know I won't, but I found out one of the police department's police chief actually referenced me as hating police. And I don't know where that came from, because I've never made that comment on the air. I don't know if they just think like I'm a rock guy, so I'm all about rock.
That's weird.
It's very weird. My dad's a cop. My brother's a cop. The only thing that I usually will lend my name to as far as like charitable work is animals and police stuff. So when I found that out, I was completely offended and completely shocked. But I'm pretty sure it's from back in the day, and it still lingered.
That's weird.
It's very weird, dude. And it's unfortunate.
I don't think I've ever really actively talked shit about the cops on the radio show. Yeah. But I mean, I'm a smart ass, and I've talked. Oh man, I remember I had that window tint ticket that I got, and I talked shit about that cop. But so maybe that was it. I don't know, fucking know. They got you and me confused, because honestly, every time I would talk shit about something, and I'm not lying, every time I talk shit about something, I would go, "That's Cartman at da-da-da-da-da.com."
Man, maybe your aunt hates me because of you and something you said on the air. It's weird, man. I wish I wish that I was more authentic from the start, and I was more me from the start, because I think me's actually a pretty okay guy. I wouldn't say I'm a great person, but like I never talked about my love of animals. I didn't talk about my love of animals and stuff.
Person,
I mean, I'm not. Everybody's flawed.
You're a pretty great guy, Cartman.
I just don't want to be judged by my worst moments in life. That's all. I want to be judged by my best, not my worst, because I've gotten older, I've grown up, I've changed over time, as everybody should, as we all should. We should all evolve as we get older.
That's the good thing about getting older.
Yeah, the one good thing.
I mean, no, that's the whole point. That's the whole point, is to grow as a human. I mean, I've said that many times, and I've said it joking lots of times. I'm growing, but it's fucking true, man.
No, I actually have to say, over the years of being around you, I have seen you grow, like by leaps and bounds. I think you might have been the only person who had a mean streak or an angry streak as bad as mine at times. Like, you know how I could go from 0 to 60, be perfectly fine, and then losing my mind, throwing things, calling former bosses things very loudly that I know they heard and I shouldn't have said. Yours would get, I think, closer to physical than mine would. But, like, I don't feel like you're that way anymore. I don't.
No, I'm not. No, it's not. I've never got close to, like,
oh, you
physical.
Almost decked one of our coworkers. You almost decked one of them at a parade.
No. He said I strong-armed him. That's not what happened.
Well,
I mean, that kind of was.
It's all good now. Everybody's friends now. But I swear that you were going to fist fight him, man.
It was one of those, if you ever fucking do that shit again.
You were laying down the Smitty law there.
I mean, you're talking about, this is where the whole, like, analyzing my own brain comes in. I've been able to just, like, I was telling a coworker that I used to be super angry. And I've told a couple coworkers this, and they just don't believe it. Because I'm honestly one of the most pleasant, fucking good-humored people at work that, without tooting my own goddamn horn, you know what I mean? It's just, I get along with everybody, and I'm pretty even keel. I'm me, though, you know?
Sure.
But I just don't get that mad, ever. And they're just like, really? Because I don't fucking see it. And I'm just, the ability to, like, and when I say slow my brain down, I was thinking about this the other day, where how I'm just historically realized I've always felt like I was rushing, where I have to get this done. What I've always feel like it's not that I have to get this done, it's always feel like I have something to get done. Yes. And I don't know what the fuck it is.
Yeah, you can't turn your brain off.
Can't turn your brain off. So being able to just be like, and just sit in the moment and just kind of little reflection gives me the kind of just like, okay, and just.
When you were an angrier person, were you the type that pushed it down? Because that was what I found. I think I was.
Look like it?
Well, I don't know, but that's when I don't know when your explosions happened. I don't know how much shit you shoveled down at that point before it happened. Like, for me, that was what it was. I remember I would get mad about big things, and I would push it down, and it was always generally something very small or tiny that was like
probably
putting that extra water into the cup that made it overflow. And I remember when the anger would come out, I used to tell my wife that I could feel the heat rise from my feet all the way up into my head. I could feel it.
Yeah, if it was like company decision, I'm mostly thinking if we were just ranting about stuff like that and I would just go off about whatever, then that's probably quick. But if it's like a relationship at work or at home or whatever like that, then it's one of those things.
Push it down.
Just push it down and push it down.
Yeah, it's not good, man. I mean, it's it's something that I think I've had to try and cope with myself. I haven't been the dude who's like asked for help or gone to see anybody or talk to anybody. I'm not that guy. I don't think I want to be that guy because I think there's probably a lot of unresolved stuff that
there's a lot of value in it, dude. If I felt like I really, because honestly, I've thought about it and I want to at some point. I just haven't gone to those lengths.
Do you want to do couples therapy with me?
No, I don't.
No. I'll be there for you to lean on. You'll be there for me to lean on.
I mean, what kind of couple do we say we are?
I don't know. My wife has suggested therapy for me. on a few occasions, dude. I used to so not only did I have anger problems, you're going to laugh your ass off probably, and you shouldn't because it's really fricked up.
But I'll probably laugh.
I had,
it's not mean if it's hilarious.
I had some vivid dreams for a couple of months that were so realistic of me murdering people. I'm talking covered in blood, brutally murdering people, cutting throats. I mean, horrible stuff. It was so realistic that I woke up afraid that I had murdered somebody the night before.
That's pretty nuts. That's nuts. Now, were they people that you knew? And that you've had
there was a mix.
With?
There was a mix. There was occasionally it was people I knew, and then other days it was these random people I had no idea who they were. And
did you ever have a dream about murdering me?
I did not. I didn't murder you.
I was saying this particular instance where you and I were on the phone, and I was just screaming at you, and you were screaming at me. I can't remember what it was about.
I know exactly what it's about. Nah, you brought it up, bitch. I'm bringing it out now.
If we were in the same room in that moment, that one might have come to blows.
Yeah,
because we were fucking raging at each other.
That was a work-related thing. I was absolutely wrong. I'll
remember what it was.
I'll say it now. I can tell you. I remember I was supposed to tell you whether or not you were covering an event for me, and I never told you that you were supposed to cover it, so you didn't cover it, so nobody showed up to the event. And at first, I thought you were an asshole and that you didn't do what you were supposed to do. But it turns out later on, I realized I don't think I ever messaged him. But we ended up in a screaming match over it.
I don't ever think you told me that I was in the right on that. You let that go the whole entire time.
Yes, I did.
You let that go the whole entire time.
Hey, I came clean now.
But I definitely reacted poorly to that.
Well, I think I think it could have been handled much better all around, but. You know, at the time, I really did think I was right, but I remember specifically going through my texts, and then I went to my email, and I'm like, shit, I never told him to cover that,
dude. And honestly, this is why you're still just the fucking greatest buddy, because I bet you Tim and you are good friends still, but I bet you if outside of radio, people know that we're friends, obviously, right?
Yep.
But I don't know if it wasn't for this job and the shared experiences, if we would have ever been in the same circle or anything like that. Because
I don't know. I don't think so.
We both do completely different things. We're both into completely different things.
Totally different, yeah.
You know what I mean? But it's honestly, you and I have just maintained this really close friendship, and we've had each other's back for since I started at the radio station, pretty much.
It's a long time, man.
No, it's great, and I value that friendship.
I value that friendship as well. The weird thing is, I think honestly, dude, I can't recall another fight with you other than that one. I don't recall any real serious
fighting. I'm sure that there were some, but it was what I felt so kind of bad about that one, where I was just like, man, I don't really want to do that again.
I was at the client. I was at the client screaming back at you, so the client heard the whole thing.
That's so funny.
Which is why I think I was so much more amped up, because I wanted the client to know that you messed up and not me. And to this day, that client. Well, it doesn't matter. They gave you a job since then.
Wait a minute.
It was a casino.
Oh, that's so funny. That's so funny.
Oh, my God. It's so funny that you brought that up, dude. I actually thought about that not that long ago. I was like, I don't think me and Smitty ever really had any big fights. We've had disagreements. We disagree. We disagree wholeheartedly on music. I know that.
Oh, yeah.
There's a few bands that I think we both like, but I definitely am a more mainstream, what's popular type of guy. And you generally hate a lot of that. Not all of it.
No, I usually don't want no part of it.
No, but some Foo Fighters and Metallica
depends
are
on what it is.
Mainstream.
If it sounds like it's supposed to be mainstream, then I probably don't want to listen to it.
Okay. Yeah.
No,
that
it
makes
looks
sense.
like it's supposed to be mainstream.
But you're right.
You can
even
even lump movies in with it. And I don't want to talk about Fast and Furious, but we could use
Greatest
that franchise.
movie ever.
But I'm just talking about just movies that are made a certain way anymore. Or just the editing decisions and the action shots and things like that, and I'm just like, oh fuck, it's just so tough to deal with sometimes.
You brought up movies. I just remembered the other thing you were pissed off at me before. I borrowed your bootleg copy of The Departed. And I never gave it back.
It was a bootleg
It was
copy.
a bootleg copy. And I even offered to buy you the real thing because I lost your bootleg copy.
Yeah.
And you're like, no, I don't want the real thing. I want my bootleg copy that I loaned you.
But honestly, that was one of those things where I didn't honestly even care about it.
Oh, you're just giving me hell?
Yeah, I just like giving you shit
Well,
about
then
it.
I don't give a shit that you didn't know that you were right the whole time.
If I did, I would have taken that DVD that you gave me of The Departed, or that you were going to give to me.
Great movie.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, I think you're right, though. I think because we ended up in the same arena, that a friendship kind of forged from that. But I mean, outside of it, I don't really know anywhere else that you and I could have met unless it was through a mutual friend and we decided we liked each other through the mutual friend.
Well, I guess that's not, it's really not that totally unique of a thing. Like how many people become friends with people that they work with in another job or something like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
dude, my whole life, it's really weird. Radio has creeped into my personal life so much since I got into it. Whether it was the first full-time radio gig I ever had was with my best friend at the time, and then that also resulted in our friendship coming to a horrible end after we were fired. Weirdly enough, radio is the reason that I now have my wife, because I worked with her sister in Sheboygan, and we met through each other that way. So, like, a lot of my friendships and everything really has been structured and came out of radio. My marriage, I don't know if my wife and I would have ever ended up together. I mean, we lived in very different places, and I don't know if we would have ended up together. But it's weird how much work life ties your personal life into it.
Yeah, no, that was one thing that I was. That was one thing that I was really excited to not have being a thing anymore, where it's just constantly part of your life, where everything you do and that.
Yeah,
was,
and you're always, if you're a public figure.
That changed when
radio.
That changed when I went to Right Brand the first time. When I got fired initially before I came back, and then came back to the radio station, because then I had another outlet. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Where it wasn't just that.
Yeah.
So before that, it was just seemed like that's all there was, and I remember just struggling with like who I was, and like that's when that was when I was really just like, okay, I'm gonna give weed a try, just to like get into my own head,
Right.
My
favorite story, it will forever be the the first pot brownie that you were given by
oh yeah.
I don't want to say
Brad,
any names.
No, Brad gave it to me.
Yeah, Brad gave you, and you did not follow his directions.
No, it's just like nobody ever does when they try the edible for the first time, and they're like, oh, okay, just eat half, okay, and then you just eat the fucking whole thing because it's not working.
For like 24 hours?
No, like 14.
14
hours. It wasn't a full day. But it was like, honestly, it was like probably 3 o'clock in the afternoon that I ate that doggone thing, and then I went and laid down at, I don't know, whenever, but I was up at like 6, and I was out until 6. When I say out, you're like
gone.
I was gone. Just like poop, man. That's too much. You got to really. But I've learned.
It's going back to the radio stuff and tying it all into your life. I will say there's a lot of great things that came from it, and there's a lot of bad things because, like, I can't throw. Even though I'm on the radio and you don't see me, I'm at enough events and I'm meeting enough people that people do recognize you. It's just what it is. It's part of the gig. So, like, you can't have a bad day. Like,
no, you always got to be on.
I can't be pissed off and moody if somebody approaches me in public and wants to talk. And generally, I'm not. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm not walking around like, some brooding, angry person. But generally, you just can't have a bad day.
You know what I was thinking about recently? Somebody like Dave Grohl. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Who's just the most reputable fucking nice guy that you're ever going to meet in your life, and is just great with fans and everything.
Yep.
Can you just imagine fucking just having to be that guy every day?
Nope.
You know what I mean? And he probably is. He probably genuinely means it most of the time. But again, just every once in a while, you're having a fucking bad day,
Yep.
and you just don't want to be nice. You don't want to talk to anybody.
Yep, and also I was a glutton for punishment too back in the day because I
Hey, I'm Cartman.
I mean, I did. I self-promoted, man. I had my name down my sleeve. I have logos everywhere because I was trying to be present and like have people see me. Now I'm very happy, just contently doing whatever. I don't really care if I self-promote. Like, I self-promote online, and that's it. Like, I don't...
That's what, like... No, you gotta let other people do that, man.
Yeah.
You gotta let other people promote, you know?
I still do have a fire for the business, and I still love it so very much. But I've dabbled into podcast world, and the credit I have to give you for the amount of content that you can turn out, it's next level, dude, because you're putting out such a steady stream of content. And I remember the two types of podcasts I did. So I did the Soldier Stories podcast or Military Stories podcast, where
Which was very good.
Talk to people and interview them. I started with my father, who's a Vietnam veteran, and ended with a World War II guy that literally had to abandon ship in the middle of the Pacific, which is insane. But like, I had to research so hard to do that podcast.
Yeah.
I couldn't just go in and do it. And then the other one that I had done was basically, my wife and I are weird and we love cemeteries. They're beautiful places. We like to go there. And sometimes you just find a really interesting headstone. And then we would start looking it up. And so we started to do this podcast where we talked about specific graves that we had come across, and we kind of gave the history of it. But there's so much research involved in that it got to be like, I don't know, it got to be too much. And I don't know how you can just turn out the content you do. So I mean, I applaud you just on that level. Well, that's why
essentially most of what I do is research free.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Other than just like news stories in the moment. If I'm talking about those on the show, if I'm reacting to music, I'm not really doing much research on that, you know. I do, and I have kind of learned, you know, just to do your early prep well,
right.
But that takes a little bit of time. But, yeah. But it's just, you know, there's no other way to do it, man. If you're going to do it, it's not going to happen right away.
Right.
I've seen so many like podcasts and things just dip off after a year or however many, because it's just like you're not getting the payoff for the work that you're doing.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's not lucky. Instant gratification.
You know what is a huge probably reason that I'm still doing it? Because I can't tell you the amount of times I thought about quitting over the last 6 or 7 months to a year. Not actively, but it creeps in your fucking head.
Sure.
And then it creeps in your head a little bit more and a little bit more.
I've quit so many jobs in my head. I get it, man.
Yeah. Well, one thing that I think has benefited me and has kept me on track is the fact that I've given myself this 5 years. I know I'll always do this podcast, but as like a basically just trying to give it the attention of a full-time job, excuse me, until it becomes successful. I wouldn't have done that probably if I would not have made this whole thing public.
Yeah.
If I would not have said, giving it to 5 years, then I'm going to go to Ireland and do all that.
Yep.
You know what I mean? If I was just trying to do this podcast as a fucking solid thing, I probably would have given up on it already, because I forced myself into doing it because I made it public, and I'm fucking talking about it all the time.
I 100% can tell you I understand, not from a podcast point of view. You might remember I went through a weight loss thing a few years ago.
Yeah.
And fell off hard, by the way. Caught COVID and everything got off track.
And I will say that you were killing it. You were doing great.
I
don't know how much you lost.
Over 60 pounds.
Fucking A.
Which it's all back.
And you've had COVID twice since then.
I had COVID twice, yeah. The first time was the first. It was the bad COVID. It was the first round. It was the no taste, no smell, hard to breathe kind of COVID. But it wasn't. I didn't stop because I caught it. I stopped because I gave it to my wife, who had pre-existing conditions, and she got it really bad. So I stopped going to the gym at that point. But I was making it public. I was doing accountability updates every day, and I think that's the only reason that I stuck to it. But then it also became too much. That became suddenly people were like messaging me and like, oh my gosh, you're doing such a great job. I love it. Do you have any, do you have anything that you can pass on to me that I can do better? And I'm just like, no, I'm not the person to be giving this advice. I'm winging it. I'm going, you know what I mean? Like, I'm just trying to drink more water, eat better food. And I worked out. My goal was 4 days a week, but I would try and make it 5 if I could. And, I had a full-on routine or whatever, and it was working really great. But I think it was because I was making it public, like you said, where I was like, dude, here's my update.
It really helps so much, and clearly you earned yourself a pass because of COVID, because you're just like, I can't fucking do it right now.
I have not mentally been able to snap back into it, man.
Right. You just got to keep telling yourself it's with smoking, because I started fucking smoking again.
I have to believe.
Yeah, you have to believe. You have to remember how good you felt.
I did. I felt, I felt like
when I wasn't smoking and when I was on the elliptical every day, and I was really getting because I was doing elliptical runs mostly.
Yeah, you were hitting it hard.
When you just have to remind yourself how good you felt, because I felt so fucking good.
I did.
And that's what you just have to keep in your fucking brain.
I remember I went from every time I get out of chair, be like, oh, that grunt after you get up, after you've been sitting too long. And I remember I went from that to just like popping up, no big deal, no issues, to what the craziest part of when I lost all that weight and when I was so hardcore into it, the craziest part was when I stopped. It went like 2 years where my body did not falter. I guess you could say it didn't.
You weren't really gaining weight.
I wasn't gaining weight, and I wasn't feeling worse. And then all of a sudden, dude, the stress of a bunch of stuff kind of hit at once, and then you're really down shit's creek, and you have no paddle.
Yeah.
So.
No, it affects your brain, dude. It's all about the psyche. It's all about how you feel, and there's the only way that I've ever been able to get through that is just to stay positive and just keep telling yourself it's the next day. Yep. And like even with smoking today, and that's how I quit the last time, where it's just like, all right, I'm done. I finished my last cigarette today, and tomorrow we'll give it another fucking shot.
I remember the first time
I don't
you
go
quit,
to the store after you leave today.
Was the first time like cold turkey? You just straight up were like,
yeah, and
done.
I quit for like 3 months.
But you didn't even patch it or anything, did you?
No, we read that book with Tim and I.
So it was just that book was enough to make your brain.
And I recommended it to several different people, Tim included, and including Kat's sister, and a bunch of other people, and fucking so many people. My mom and my dad have quit smoking by reading it. And if you read it again, it doesn't really have the same effect because you already know all the things and all the principles. So you just have to put those same principles to use, and it's just a matter of doing it. You just got to be ready and fucking just go do it.
Is there like a picture book version of it that I could do? I hate reading. No. I know you're gonna hate hearing that, but
no. But here's the thing. If because I know, like you or like me, eating's a big thing for you. Where I fucking eat my feelings, man. You know what I mean? I overeat like a motherfucker. It's one of the things I try not to do.
Isn't it horrible, the eating your feelings thing, where you eat, you feel like shit about what you ate.
Yeah.
And then it just makes you go eat more.
Oh, no, it's a real fucking thing.
It's a circle, dude.
It's a real thing.
Yeah.
And the same dude who wrote that book, The Easy Way to Stop Smoking, his name's Alan Carr.
Yeah.
He wrote a book that is supposed to be relatively as effective as the non-smoking book, and it's The Easy Way to Lose Weight.
Really?
And it's about eating addictions and things like that. Same with nicotine addiction. He's wrote a book about alcohol addiction that is super beneficial to alcoholics, man.
It seems like
he does have an audiobook,
man.
He does have an audiobook.
Everything's tied to the brain.
It really is, man.
It's crazy.
But it's that's what that quit smoking book does. It doesn't like fucking. It's not hypnosis.
I remember
that fucking bullshit.
I remember hypnosis came to the venue here that's not around anymore, Streeters, and if you were in Northern Michigan, you probably went to a concert or two. But I remember a hypnotist came there, and He did a bunch of stuff. I was hypnotized by him on stage. I wish I could tell everybody it's bullshit.
Do you remember it?
Yeah. So I wasn't in a state of like, you won't remember this. This is how I think they figure out who they can and can't really go deeper with it. But basically he's like, okay, I want you to hold out your arm. And so everybody up there was about 12 of us held out our arms, and he's like, I want you to hold it there. And he just keeps talking to you. And he's like, you can't put your arm down anymore. And I couldn't put my arm down, dude. I tried so hard to put my arm down, and I couldn't.
Did you try to push it down with the other hand?
I didn't. I kept trying to move my arm, and I couldn't. And then the part was, and he said this from the start. He's like, if anything makes you uncomfortable, tell me, and I will snap you out of it. You can leave the stage. Well, he started this bullshit because I hate hot. I hate hot. So he starts with this whole, he's like,
I'm already sweaty, you fuck.
Right. and he goes, it's getting warmer. It's like a sunny day on the beach. You're just hanging out on the beach right now. You can feel that sun. You can feel that sun just shining brightly on you. And I'm like, shit, it's getting hot in here. And he's like, but it's really starting to get hot now, isn't it? It's like, it's so hot. Like, you just can't stop sweating. And that was it. I was like, I'm done. Because I was getting super hot. I'm like, I'm out. You can let me go now. And he came over. He tapped me on the shoulder. And I swear to God, arm went right down. And I no longer felt hot. And it was at that moment I went, wow, that shit works. And there was a guy there, and I know the guy, so I know he wasn't a part of the show. This guy was walking around screaming aliens were invading. And when the show ended, he snapped this dude out of it, and he's walking out, and I'm like, dude, that was really funny, man. And he's like, what? He's like, that was the worst show ever, because he didn't see any of it.
Dude, it's like, I want to be a skeptic of that kind of thing, and the same as with like mind reading and things like that. Yeah. AKA Ben Whiting. Do you remember me getting on the air, getting my mind read by Ben Whiting?
Yeah, he's a mentalist.
And fucking blew my face off. I didn't even know, like, how, because they were so specific. And I'll actually try to put the clip fucking here somewhere if you're watching the video.
Do it right here. Do it in this spot.
Dude, good luck. I got to remember that. Let me write it down. Write it down. Yeah. What time mark are we at on this fucking video? I can see.
I don't know.
What time do you got to leave, by the way?
Are you kicking me out?
No, but I'm curious what time you got to go.
I don't have to go anytime. You can keep me as long as you need me.
57, Mark. What were we just talking about?
You were going to put a clip up where you got your mind blown by Ben Whiting. Whiting?
Because we're mentioning it. But it was so fucking specific that I couldn't wrap my... I mean, there's people that he could have talked to, I guess, in my life.
Right. But it would have to be a deep dive.
It would have to be a real deep dive. You would have to get lucky with the right people in order to get this fucking information, I feel like. And I just couldn't even... It was so fucking nuts. So I guess, like, it's probably sort of similar to hypnosis in some kind of fucking way, right?
Right. Well, and that's the reason I brought that up was, I remember after the show, the guy was specifically selling, it seems funny to say it because it wasn't that long ago, but he was selling cassette tapes, like actual cassette tapes. I mean, it was a long time ago. It was like 15 years ago, maybe. Yeah. But he was selling cassette tapes of, there was one for smokers and there was one for overeating. And there was one for certain fears, and all he said is at night, you put your headphones on, and you play the cassette while you go to sleep, and I will fix all of your problems. And I was like, no. Even though this guy literally made it so I could not move my arm down, and I started feeling like I was on fire, I just could not bring myself to do it.
What's his fucking name?
That guy? I have no clue, dude.
I wonder. I bet you now, even just thinking about it, I bet no, this is how you get fucked. Because I was just thinking there's probably something on Spotify or YouTube or something where it's like non-smoking hypnosis, but I wouldn't know it if they fucked me up some other way.
You know what I mean? It's listed as like quit smoking, but it's actually telling you murder.
Right,
could you imagine?
Now I'm worried because that's the first thing you thought of after you told me you had fucking murdered.
No, think about that though. Like, what a crazy. Like, you think you're listening, and maybe the first 10, 15 minutes is just enough time for you to fall asleep, and it's all about quitting smoking. And then as soon as you fall asleep, the voice changes, and it's like,
Red rum.
Get a knife. Slash, cut, kill.
Well, I wouldn't know it because I'd be hypnotized.
I'm telling you, dude. Wow, that is so messed up. But
anyway, what's that guy's name? Because I'll say he's fairly reputable. Why don't you remember?
Because it was 15 years ago. I don't remember what I did yesterday. I wish I could. Maybe the owner of the venue might remember who it was. He brought him in. I mean, he could remember. But I just remember I was intrigued at the fact that he was able to do that on stage because I've never bought into that before.
Me either. I'm totally skeptical.
But I experienced it was not enough for me to buy the cassette tape to try it. It wasn't enough. I was like, I'm not doing it.
But I mean, I wonder how much of it is simply the power of suggestion. You know what I mean? I don't.
I think there's a whole process to it. And it is, you have to give control to this person for your body to react that way. Like you have to, on a level that you may not be acknowledging because you're like, I don't buy this. You have to, there is a level of your consciousness that is giving control to this person. Otherwise, it's not going to happen.
I've always thought that I was way too flighty and fucking like squirrel to actually like get hypnotized because my fucking brain's all over the place.
Well, and he knew. So the people he brought up on stage, I remember specifically, as he's doing this, you know, he was walking around and he'd be like, okay, you got to go. Because he knew that it wasn't working for them. And so he would send them on their way, and anybody else want to come up and try? And then they would come up, and he would start the process all over. So it's like he was able to tell the personalities that would work with it. I'm sure it's one of those type A, type B type things. And he was able to literally tell who it was going to work on and who it wasn't just by a couple of quick phrases that he would say. And I think the guy that was running around screaming about aliens, I think he must have just been like the worst. He's the dude. I think he's the dude who's you would say is controlled probably by his wife all day, his boss at work all day when he's not around his wife, and then when his wife's not around, his boss isn't around, his kids control him. Like,
I want you to say who that is right now, but I don't want.
I am not gonna say names. I don't think he's that controlled. He's a good dude, but. No, I'm not going to do it. It's funny, I can remember his name, but I can't remember the damn hypnotist. I wish I could, man. I think he considered himself a mentalist, too. I don't think they like the word hypnotist anymore. I think they're mentalists.
Mentalists sound...
Because they can cold read the room, and they can do all these other stuff on top of it.
Who do I think of when I think mentalist? You know the name Kreskin? Mm-mm. You know Kreskin? Kreskin was a mentalist.
What did he do?
He did mental things.
Like what?
I don't know.
Did he hypnotize people? Did he?
Man, hang on a second. Let me look that shit up.
Talk to the dead? Now I'm interested.
I don't think so.
Wait, are you putting on your old man readers?
Yep.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. I got to wear mine all the time.
Well, I was just like, I need to have some all the time. And the thing is I'm stupid, and I have vision now because I work at a place that has insurance.
But you don't use it.
But I don't use it. Why the fuck,
I have insurance
used to not
now.
having things, so I just forget. Anyway, what the fuck was I looking up? Oh, Kreskin.
Yeah, I'm curious what he was known
American mentalist. The amazing Kreskin, also known as Kreskin.
Dead or alive guy?
Looks like he's alive still.
Yeah.
He's inspired to become a mentalist, blah, blah. He's always presented himself as an entertainer, never as a psychic. I've heard he's fucking very good, though.
I wonder if somebody can hypnotize you through the computer, like on a Zoom call. Maybe you could find somebody who might be able to try that for you, and you could, like, attempt it to see if it works on you. I don't know if it's possible, but would you ever try something like that? Would you be too afraid that it would work?
Well, if I wanted to get hypnotized, I would want it to work. But I don't think I would trust it. I would want it would. I don't know if there would have to be somebody else present.
Snap you out of it?
Not to necessarily snap me out of it, just to make sure that I'm fucking not getting fucked with.
You're not giving him the bank account number and all that stuff over the Zoom call.
You never know.
Yeah.
You never know. Can't trust anybody.
I mean, honestly,
you want to?
Yeah, you got to watch yourself no matter what.
Especially some fucking mentalist.
It was a weird experience, dude. It was a weird experience. I would do it again, though. 100%. I would try it. And I would just ask him not to go heat. Make me cold. I'm okay with being cold.
But other than that, you could just get the audiobook by Alan Carr.
I want
it's worth it
so badly to try stuff like that. But I don't know what it is, but there's like that part of me that's just like, eh.
Yeah, I know.
Does that make sense? Like,
yeah, I do that shit all the time. That's why I haven't fucking done the things I want to do. But I'm learning to tell that voice to go fuck itself so I can get shit accomplished.
I'd like to tell that voice to go fuck itself, but it's too busy already telling me to go fuck myself.
No.
But I'm listening.
You got to defy that voice, man. That's why I'm at where I'm at today. I don't know where I'm at today, but that's why I'm at where I'm at today is because I just defy that voice.
You are a man who is putting out steady content on a successful podcast, and you're working towards your goal, dude. You're freaking going to Ireland, and you're going to do a really badass podcast from Ireland. That's awesome.
Well, so that was whatever I was saying. What was I saying?
Are you going to do odd jobs when you go to Ireland? Like,
I
are you
hope not.
I don't know. Do they have goats there? Are you going to herd goats or something while you're over there?
I hope not. I mean, I thought about like trying to do parts of the podcast where I'm doing things like that and just meeting people, and I don't want to work on a fucking farm necessarily for a day, but like, doing things that Irish people do and just sort of interacting in that way. Because I've watched so many, and I continue to watch so many like YouTube documentaries and all these things about Ireland, and I'm doing that. I just started doing reaction videos to a dude that is hiking, and I actually said on the Patreon live stream the other day, is there anybody that fucking doesn't like this, that I'm sitting here watching somebody walk? And I'm like, I don't know, but I'm into it. Hopefully you fucking dig it. But honestly, I just released that video today, and it's been halfway popular.
I feel like this is embarrassing to say, by the way, as an American, but I feel like what I know about Ireland is a caricature of what Ireland actually is because of St. Patrick's Day, because of the fighting Irish, mascot and all that crap. Like, I don't know the real Ireland other than I have seen a lot of beautiful photos from Ireland. But I don't know a lot. I know the caricature. Just like I know when you go to other countries, man, I am a walking American caricature. Loud, fat dude. Like, I would be the walking caricature of a American in another country. So, that's what I know, man. That's all I know. And I just found out, like, I'm like 30-some% Scottish, so I really want to learn about Scotland and everything like that.
No Irish in there?
Not that I'm aware of. I think if it was small. So I only know I am because my dad was 60-some% Scottish, and he didn't know that. He thought he was German because we have a German last name. So it's always been, we're German. But then he did the DNA test, and he went, huh.
Yeah, I'm going to do the DNA test when I wrap up the podcast. Yeah. And then
find out the truth.
I know that I'm a little bit, and I only found this out recently because I was sitting talking to my mom and dad about it, and they said they know that I know that there's Irish on both sides, but I don't know how much. But, I didn't know shit about it either. Most people don't know shit about it.
How long have you been obsessed with Ireland?
It's been a growing obsession. I've just been mildly interested in it. Like, it just, honestly, a couple movies, In the Name of the Father, and the other one's escaping me right off the top of my head, but music and fucking all of a sudden, you know what, like, U2's lyrics are about, and, start getting, okay, Dropkick Murphys and Flogging Molly, and you're into it even more, and then, oh man, fucking you listen a little bit more, and it's just more movies and more just hearing about things, and it just seemed like, I don't know, I really can't describe it, dude, because it feels like it's like there's something wrong with me.
No, man, I don't think so. I mean,
I am obsessed with it.
You traveled, you did, at least I know you were in Korea. You traveled for the military. Where else did you end up going when you were in the military? Were there other countries you were in?
No, I was in Korea, but no, that was it.
That was I.
But what it is just finding out the type of people that live there. Like, there's a real, because it's this, and I call it a beleaguered island a lot, where everybody's fucking with it, for 1,000 years. It has been invaded by the Vikings. It's been fucking taken over by the British. It's just been fucked with and fucked with and fucked with. And, like, the pub aspect to that is super fascinating to me, because essentially, like, those pubs in so many of those areas were essentially like staging grounds and planning fucking areas for defenses. And
I had no idea.
It's such, now that it's separate between Northern Ireland and Ireland, finding that history out and being like, oh, and just realizing that nobody fucking knows about it. And I was listening to an Irish political podcast that I listened to, and which is redundant, but they were talking about that very thing, where even like England, nobody fucking knows that Northern Ireland is part of England. Or something along those lines. I can't remember exactly what it is. Or Ireland is independent. They don't know that. They just don't know. Nobody fucking knows. It's crazy to me.
So you never
And the quality of the people, and I'm sorry to interrupt you, but like the quality, they call it the crack. The CRAIC. It's the crack.
Okay.
And what that fucking word means, basically, there's two words here that I'm going to try to remember.
Okay.
There's the crack, which is the ability to just, essentially, we call it bullshitting and busting balls and just having good humor. You know what I mean?
Yep.
It's such a cultural fucking thing over there, where everybody, not everybody, I guess it's generalizing, but it's just a way of life where you're just bullshitting.
Yeah.
And the more you do that, the more you're able to fucking do the crack, the more people are going to want to talk to you. It's pretty fucking rad. There's also, and I had this conversation with that Irish YouTuber Claire, where they call it the Soundest Town in Ireland, and I can't remember the name of the town, but sound is the word. And it's not an Irish word like crack is, but it's a saying, and it just means like good people.
Oh.
And generous and outgoing and just engaging and things like that, with good humor and things like that. And there's a contest around the fucking island to see what was the soundest town in Ireland. And I can't remember the name of the town, but I'm like, I'm going to that fucking town.
I want to go there.
So those are that's the kind of thing where I'm just like, oh man, these are kind of like just like my people.
Yeah.
That's kind of me, where you're just
well,
generally fucking engaging.
Do you think experiencing your time in Korea through the military is kind of what led you to want to go to other places, like going to Ireland? Or do you? Well,
I've been wanting to travel for years. It's I missed it so much, man. And then I, doing that road trip to Montana, that solo drive cross country to Montana, just really kicked that fucking bug into gear. And I just want to be traveling for the rest of my life. Forever.
The reason I bring it up is my dad, when he got out of Vietnam, he was stationed in Germany, and I wish I could remember the name of the town, but he absolutely to this day loves it. He follows a Facebook page about it. It still has a military base there. He loved that place, but what he did on his time off is he hitchhiked. And he took trains, and he went and he explored all over there. And I don't know, he loved it, and he still has such a fond spot in his heart for where he was stationed there. And that to me, I always thought, okay, maybe that's a reason to see the world. My wife wants to travel. I'm not much of that person. I generally think most countries hate Americans and don't want us around. I'm sure that's in my head.
No, it's just from some of the Irish people that I've spoken to, they don't hate Americans. Most of them actually kind of like Americans that are not idiots.
Yeah.
Because honestly, they came here. The Irish came here for a reason.
Right.
Half the country was split up, was decimated due to the famine in the 1840s through however long, and then the troubles in the 60s and that, where everybody just fled. Half of the country lost its population, or the country lost half its population.
Right.
So whatever fucking point I was trying to make, I forgot. Sounded smart throwing out facts.
No, man, I dig it. I think your passion for it's cool. I love that you have put this plan together and that you're going to make it happen. I think it's pretty amazing. I might hide in your suitcase. Get rid of all your shit, get in your suitcase, and go with you.
I'm just gonna have one pack. I'm gonna have to carry you around. We're hiking, man.
Well, that'll be fun for you. You're gonna need a lot of those compression sleeves,
dude. Honestly, you know what? I mean this 100%.
What?
We've talked about. I have an elliptical, and I have to get rid of it. I haven't put it up for sale yet.
I have one in my basement.
Really?
I have an elliptical. Yeah, I'll take your cord though if the cord will fit. We lost our cord.
There's no cord. It's battery power.
Damn it. We lost our cord. It's if anybody knows where you can get an elliptical cord, please email Smitty and ask him to pass it on to me.
You stepped on my pitch for my Sonny to buy my elliptical. I haven't put that one up for sale yet. It's sitting in my parents' fucking garage. Like, I can't bring it to this goddamn thing. I thought about it, but it was just like the idea of that elliptical pounding while I'm on it. It would come through the floor here, or just like people would be like, "What the fuck is going on up there?"
Not to completely change subjects, but in mentioning your new place again, did you really shit on a plumber?
Oh, I don't know. I think they got out of the way. I think they dodged it.
I was dying at the thought of you were like, "Oh, I'm gonna drop a deuce," and you did, and then you heard somebody coming stomping up the steps.
Yeah, dropping a deuce is not out of the ordinary if it's in your own toilet. That's where I was, you know? I didn't know that they were working on piping down in the floor at the tattoo shop below me.
Could you imagine, man, being the plumber?
They said that they got out of the way in time, and I'm like, thank fuck. I didn't even really realize on day one because I did it 2 days in a row.
They still got to clean it up.
I did it 2 days in a row. I didn't pee, or I didn't poop on day 2. I only peed day 2, but he said, I got out of the day 2. He goes, I got out of the way in time. I hope they got out of the way in time day 1. I didn't hear that. Like, it's not my fault, regardless.
No, it's not. It's just I was like, oh my God, I can't believe that happened. Even if they got out of the way, they still had to take care of what I know. At that point, if I'm in the plumbing world, I'm like, this is not worth it. I'm not doing this.
It's got to be really weird to just if I sat and wonder how my poop looked, because if it looked weird, they saw my poop. Was it weird? Was it weird looking?
Can anybody verify? Did my poop look normal? Is it comparable to others?
I'm sure they didn't look at it.
Were you worried about size?
No.
Guys always worry about size.
Well, no, I'm not worried about that. I'm worried about not talking about pooping anymore. I don't really care.
Yeah, sorry I took that down the path of the podcast, but
dude, look who you're talking to.
Well, I watched you tell this story, and I'm like, how much of this is amplified? But to me, it sounds like none of it at all is amplified.
No, I didn't know. I didn't make up anything. I swear.
God, dude.
No, it was fucking. I felt genuine, but then again, I almost did it again because I gotta pee. So I just peed, and I was like, I'm not gonna flush it. But then my stupid fucking brain was like,
instant flush.
And I pulled my hand away, and I made a sign. I gorilla taped that fucking thing with Sharpie, and I was like, do not flush. So, gorilla taped it over the handle.
To me, I feel like the hardest part of that whole situation was making eye contact with this man after it happened. Like, having to look him in the eyes, knowing he just experienced his Vietnam. And now you're looking him dead in the eyes, dude.
Personal shitty war.
Oh, my God.
Honestly, no. I didn't really think about that, but his was very wide-eyed.
I'm sure.
He was like, did you just flush the toilet?
It was the cat.
I was like, yeah.
Blame the cat.
On the second time, the fucking guy, I heard him coming up again, and I opened the door and met him right as he was coming in to knock, and I was like, hey, I know just why you're coming up here. Sorry about that.
Are they going to give you a notice in the future if there's plumbing work going on? Like,
oh, well, some kind of notice. It's either going to be in the text form, an email form, or the fucking form of some guy running up the fucking stairs to knock on the door to say, don't do that again.
I cannot help but picture this poor soul just working on the pipe.
I feel for him.
You know, just wrenching away on the pipe, and then all of a sudden, was that a flush? Do I hear water running?
No.
Diving out of the way as it all just comes pouring out.
Well, it's got to be, it's probably, if I had to guess, 8-ish feet from the pipe to the floor below. So I don't know if there's twisty turnies that's going down or if it's a straight drop, but I don't know.
Well, look out below.
I don't know.
Dude, I'm telling you, that might be my favorite story from you ever.
Ever.
I mean, you have a lot of great stories. It's just I keep looking at it. Like when you told the story, I literally, from the entire time of you telling it, I wasn't seeing it from Smitty's side of things.
You're seeing it from the plumber's
I was seeing it
perspective.
from the plumber's side of things and wondering how he tells the story at the bar with his buddies. Like, you guys are not gonna believe what happened today.
Some guy shit on me.
Hey man, some people pay extra money for that, so. Oh shit, man.
I'm honestly, I think about it every once in a while and I just start fucking laughing. You know? Because it's fucking hilarious. How do you not?
It is. Listen, every job that exists out there, every job that is out in this world comes with possibilities of things ending poorly for you.
I know.
There are bad things that can happen with any job. With his job, it's always going to revolve around shit.
Yeah.
It is always going to revolve around piss.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, I think you were like the worst possibility that could happen. Because if he was under that pipe in any way,
I'm putting this on the plumbers, though. I'm putting this on the plumbers as it being the plumber's fault. Because the plumber's supposed to text, at the very least, and I don't know if this happened or if it didn't, but they're supposed to text somebody, inform somebody.
What if they told your landlord and your landlord didn't tell you?
I mean, that's a possibility, too.
Still blame the plumber, though, because you have to pay rent to the landlord, so just keep blaming the plumber.
There's no blame here. That's just shit.
My favorite part of this is if that plumber, for some reason, maybe he is a big fan of your podcast and doesn't even realize it, listens to or watches your podcast, and he's like sitting there going, that's not how this happened at all. That is not what happened at all. And he's like getting pissed off about it.
Oh,
and like whole other side story going on, you know?
How could there possibly be another version?
There's two sides to every story. So if you have your side of what happened, he's probably got his. Like in his mind, he thinks you did it on purpose. You saw the truck out there. You assumed that he was working on the plumbing, and you said, I'm going to make this guy earn his money. I'm going to make him earn his paycheck this week. I mean, there's two sides to every story.
I think you're really, I think you're really reaching.
I mean,
I think you're really reaching here. There's no way. Because, I mean, honestly, I was so genuinely, profusely apologetic about taking a shit on him that I don't think he really, I was like, man, I'm really sorry.
Just the way you're wording it. Oh, my God, dude. Yeah, no, there's a lot of great Smitty stories, but that one, man, that was great. I love that happened. Is it bad that I love that it happened?
No, here's why. You want to know why? I love that it happened because it was a total spark for this place. It was a total like, haha, I'm talking about this on the podcast. And then I was just like, okay, ever since then,
avalanche.
I've just been going avalanche of fucking brain activity.
Shit rolling downhill ever since then now.
Yeah. Uphill and downhill and side which ways. Yeah.
No, man, I love that. And that's what I think is cool about your podcast too, is like a lot of it just involves shit that happened to you during the course of a week or course of a day. I think that's generally how we connect with each other anyway, you know, whether it's radio or podcast or even TV. Like, I just feel like, you know, those personal experiences, those silly experiences, you know, somebody probably had something similar happen.
Yeah.
I don't know if they shit on a plumber like you did,
yeah.
but you know, maybe they clogged the toilet and the plumber had to come dig around and fix that. Like, and they're like, oh, I kind of know Smitty's embarrassment.
Yeah. It's even just like talking about my shitty thumbnail where I just cranked my thumbnail the other day.
Holy crap.
Not the other day, around Christmas time. That's going to fall off here pretty soon.
Oh, gross.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because, honestly, you just trying to relate to people, you know?
Don't ever show me that again.
Oh, man, no, it's coming. I'll send you a picture when it starts.
No! Oh, God, man. Oh, my God.
I think
that almost made me puke. Hold on.
That's a great ending. That's a great close to the show.
Not.
That's a great close to the podcast. If I can get you to throw up on
Don't
the end
show
credits.
me your thumb again.
On the end credits.
I am legit. Who?
Really?
I have a thing about fingers. I don't like that. Well,
You didn't even notice it before.
I did, but then you were like,
looking at it.
Then you're like, look at this.
Yeah, but now you keep looking at it, and it's down here. You won't even look over here.
Nope. I'm going to just stare this way the rest of the time we're talking because that is horrifying. And I looked again. It's not even just black, it's green and black.
I heart you.
I'm sorry it went down this path. I didn't think we were going to talk about you pooping out a plumber or your gross thumb, but...
No, but of course we are. Of course we are. Of course we're going to talk about that. Of course we're going to. I haven't been able to shock you with that. I haven't been able to shock you with a bidet visit. So if you need to poop before you go, there's a bidet in there. You know. I
don't want to risk a plumber being downstairs.
Well, I put that bidet together and I was like, please God, don't fuck this up.
Could you imagine having to call the plumber and he knocks on your door and it's the guy you shit?
I'm sorry, but I fucked everything up with my bidet. That's funny.
Oh my God. It's a car wash for my butt.
Exactly right. Mr. Pfeifer, what do you want to get out? Do you want to say where people can find you? Do you want to do any of that?
Yeah, on social media, you can find me at On Air Cartman. On the radio, if you're in Northern Michigan, Traverse City, Alpena, generally pretty much most of Northern Michigan, 105.1, 95.5, 103.7. Those are the stations. So, and then the app, you can always get us on an app. So that's all I got, man. I don't have a lot to promote other than that.
All right.
So, thank you.
Coming up, I do have album reactions to Sinead O'Connor's second album, whatever that's called. It's escaping me. The debut album from Norwegian prog band Leprous. Of course, Sunday morning talk practices, 9 o'clock on Patreon, Eastern Standard Time. And then Monday, Wednesday, Friday, live podcast recordings on Patreon. Usually runs 9 a.m. Eastern through about 11-ish. And then just the one-offs with good friends like this every once in a while. You never fucking know.
Put your fucking hand in your pocket or something. Quit waving it around.
What, man? Look at it. You can see.
Oh, God.
You can see. No. Right. Look at right there.
You know why I hate this? Because if you were my dad, he would literally take needles and pop holes in it to leak out the...
Oh, I wouldn't do that. I won't go that far. I'm not fucking psycho. I'm not doing that.
Listen, man, I won't put anything past you. You shit on people. All right. We should probably not keep going. Because this just got really weird.
I was trying to think of like a good creative way to come back with that. And I'm like, you shit on people. We're fucking out of here.
So long, sucker.
Good night, everybody.
I am so sorry for everything that has happened.
Bye-bye.
Yeah, all right, I'll see you guys there. By the bar and get your face, huh? Get me paid, bitch.
Sit, boo-boo, sit. Good dog.
I love y'all very much. Peace out.
Good night, ladies.
Good night, sir.
What the hell, everything?